Hi, everybody. My name is Caroline Leland, and I am a dual Master of Public Policy and Master of Environmental Science student at the University of Michigan, and I am a 2023 Yale Environmental Fellow with We Act for Environmental Justice. This summer, I conducted policy research and analysis for We Act specifically for their federal policy office. And to provide a little bit more context, We Act was founded in northern Manhattan in the 1980s when a group of community members organized themselves to fight against the disproportionate burden of pollution that their community faced. They recognized that pollution as a form of environmental racism, and they fought against it and have been fighting ever since. The mission of the organization is to empower and organize low-income people of color to build healthy communities for all. And the organization was founded on the principles of environmental justice, which were written by a coalition in 1991, the principles of climate justice, and the HIMAS principles for democratic organizing. So We Act was founded in North Manhattan, and has remained very focused on New York City, has also expanded to advocacy work on the state level, and then 11 years ago founded the Federal Policy Office to work on policy at the national level, and that's where my work was focused. So pictured here is me with Dana Johnson, the director of the Federal Policy Office for We Act. This is us in the FPO, as it's called, Federal Policy Office in Washington, D.C. I'm going to quickly run through some of the projects that I worked on this summer. My main project was researching federal policies, analyzing legislative drafts, and helping draft comment letters for proposed federal regulations, all of which had implications for environmental justice. Throughout the summer, I analyzed 15 different advocacy letters, and these are letters written by other advocacy groups that are then sent to We Act, and the other groups are asking We Act to sign on and support. And so I would analyze those letters with an environmental justice lens and make an assessment of how well those letters match up to the mission and values of We Act. And then I would make a recommendation for whether or not our organization should sign on. I was able to participate in national coalition meetings on a variety of topics, which gave me really amazing insight into the federal policymaking process and all the different ways that various voices can contribute to that process. And I was able to provide logistical and communication support for informational webinars designed to educate congressional staff on environmental justice issues, as well as an environmental justice leadership forum meeting, which is a national coalition of environmental justice advocates, community activists that are convened by We Act, and they come together every month to discuss news, current events, to exchange resources and ideas and support one another. And that was also a really amazing opportunity for me to gain insight into community member participation in environmental justice policymaking, and ways that community member voices can be uplifted and supported by an organization like We Act. Some of the key takeaways from my summer, I have 4 key takeaways that I'm going to share here. One is from a research project I did on cumulative impacts of environmental pollution in northern Manhattan and South Bronx, the areas where We Act originally was focused on. And those areas are known as sacrifice zones because they are chosen for pollution, and then the pollution continues to accumulate, and that's used as an excuse for additional polluting facilities to be added to those communities. And the way that those impacts interact with each other, it amplifies the effects of the pollution and creates horrible public health consequences, something I learned a lot about from my research and am now really fired up about. I also gained insight into how my educational background can enable me to bridge the gap between jargon-laden public policy with highly technical language and actual community members who live on the front lines of environmental pollution, who may not find that type of policy language accessible, but have really important insights and lived experiences that are essential to be included in the policymaking process. Another insight I gained is just that community engaged policymaking, it's slow. You can't get around that, and you can't use that, even though there is a sense of urgency around climate action, you can't use that as an excuse not to include all the voices that need to be included. And on a similar note, just the fact that technical expertise cannot be elevated above lived experiences and community priorities. Doesn't matter how much of an expert you are, you still have to recognize that if it doesn't work for that specific community, it's not going to work. You have to listen to the community to find out what type of solutions are going to be most effective. I'm extremely grateful to everyone who made this summer possible and who made it a positive experience for me, starting with Dr. Dorcita Taylor and the Yale Environmental Fellows Program staff, Peggy Shepard, Vernice Miller Travis, and Chuck Sutton, who are the 3 co-founders of We Act. I'm grateful that they started this incredible organization. Jasmine Jennings and Annika Larson, pictured next to me in this photo, the 2 women in the middle, they were my supervisors this summer, and I'm grateful for all the effort they put into giving me feedback on my work and helping make sure that my experience was a positive learning experience. Of course, the rest of the We Act team made me feel extremely welcome and included and supported throughout my summer. And the EFP and YCS cohorts for peer support throughout the summer, encouragement and accountability. To all of these people, thank you so much. I am so grateful to have had this opportunity, and I'm grateful to have the chance to share about it today. Thanks for listening.